to do that. All right. There we go. There we go. All right, we live in effect. Live in effect here. Oh, let's see. We got everything rolling. We live. Bam, bam, bam. We good to go. All right.
Let's go.
Yes, indeed. We are here today. Very special episode. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all might, y'all used to be doing. Actually, some of y'all originally y'all saw I was doing face to face on the Polka Dot Rabbit Pack. Well, it was the Elevated Beings podcast at the time, and so I switched it. And mostly you were, used to me doing, live streams, etc. But as some of y'all know, I go back and forth. I travel a lot, so I was able to get a episode here live in Richmond, Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Where I spent a good 13 years of my life, you know what I mean, here. And I am sitting with a very an amazing young man right here, you know what I'm saying?
He's a young man.
Hey man, we young.
I take that.
We young.
Definitely.
We young. We ain't old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And let me, before I go there, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna kind of introduction of the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. This podcast specifically is made to uplift humanity, but also to awaken the melanated zombies that are walking around that do not know knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? So that's what. Hold on 1 second, because.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. I had some background noise. I had to squeal real quick. But yes, like I said, uplift humanity and also assist to give information for the melanated zombies that have lost their past and need help coming from this amnesia that we have. All right. So, of course, always, if you haven't already, go to polka.rabbitpodcast.com. You can pick up my book, Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions, and Kahlil knows some of the part of these books quite well.
Oh, yeah.
He was actually one of the cats that I was actually talking about writing it even before I wrote it. And I told him I was going to write a book, and here it is. You know what I'm saying? So please, if you're out there, please follow, like, subscribe out there, to the channel Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast, and check out polka.rabbitpodcast.com, the website. You can get my book there and see a bunch of videos and all that good stuff. All right, enough of me. I'm going to introduce the good brother, Kahlil Archer here. So go ahead, tell the folks who you are, just give them everything. Whatever you want to give them.
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you for having me on the show.
Indeed.
I've watched the show. It's a great show. Very informational.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it.
Stuff that we actually need as a culture to help us grow mentally. Second, my name is Kahlil Van Archer. Son of Francine and Van Archer. Got a brother, Kobe Archer. The title of this podcast it resonates. It resonates with me because I'm from South Side Richmond. That's where I grew up. But as a child, I kind of moved from South Richmond to the suburbs. Not actually knowing what I was getting into because I wasn't of that world. But I can actually say that it was I learned life lessons.
Definitely.
I learned life lessons being from two different worlds. So as I got older, me being at my age, I can kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of like balance or juggle both cultures. And I know how to, be one way, be a certain way, be myself. And I kind of like a chameleon. Kind of whatever. But yeah, my name's Kahlil Archer. I'm 44 years old. I have two kids, Rasan Archer and Talia Archer. Both are very talented kids. I love them to death. Well, one is not a kid anymore, but she's older. Where do you want to start, Bill? Where? Because I got some stories.
Okay. Well, let's start about how we met. Okay. one thing is in the high school we went to, Lurkin High School.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of melanated people. One many black folks there.
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
So Kahlil and I, we met because in these schools, some of the classes that were all the black boys mainly, they were all just grouped in there. And the classes, they were the most ridiculous classes. You could, I mean, we didn't even do anything except watch movies. And
Right.
It was like what do you call it? Daycare. Like
it was like adult daycare.
Adult daycare. You know. And the funny thing was, I come to find out later on is that a lot of athletes were put in there just so we wouldn't have to worry about flunking, getting bad grades in a regular class. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? That's how we met. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I didn't have many. I had a couple of, I'd say like 2 or 3 black friends at the time. Before I went to high school, that was even beforehand. But Kahlil was one of the ones I actually met that we went to class together, and you know we connected that way.
Right.
So we experienced a lot of the same experience, but back then, you know what I'm saying, my mom was just straight on playing baseball. I had no culture, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So
it was
yes. So I'm gonna rewind it. Before I met you, like I said, I'm from Southside Richmond, and I went to J.L. Francis, G.H. Reed, and Elkhart, which are inner city schools, in the city. So I remember we were packing up the house and we're moving. My parents are saying that we're moving, and we're going to Chesterfield. No idea what Chesterfield is. Whatever. So I'm in the back seat of the car. I remember falling asleep in the back seat of the car, and I'm waking up. And when I wake up, I get out of the car and I look, and I'm looking at this mansion. Now, to me, it's a mansion coming from where I came from. You know, where we came from. It was a mansion. It was massive. So again, I'm just thinking it's like the Jeffersons. Not the Jeffersons. We're moving on up. The Jeffersons moving on up to the east side. So, and it was in the summertime. So during that summer, I met really cool brothers that lived in surrounding neighborhoods close by. I could walk to. You know, I met them. We started playing basketball together. We became really, really close. So again, summertime. You know, brothers, sisters everywhere. I'm thinking everything's fine. Like, it's okay, cool. We just moved into a richer black neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? We just moved into a richer black neighborhood. So fast forward, September comes, school starts. Right. So again, I get on the bus. It's black kids on the bus, and it's a sprinkle of white kids on the bus as well. So get off the bus. I walk into school. Joe, listen, bro. I had never seen that many white kids in my life. So I had called my mom, and I was like, she answered the phone. I called her work, and she was like, what do you want, boy? I said, Mom, where the hell am I? And she was like, first of all, watch your mouth. Second of all, she said, you are now the minority and no longer the majority. So shock for me because I had never been around that many white people in my life. I didn't know anything about a suburb. I technically never went past Cloverleaf Mall or the Marshalls that's right at Powhite. Like I didn't know anything.
You stayed east of that, right?
Bro, I'm South Richmond, South Side, on whatever. But I say that to say this, that what really kept me rooted into me knowing who I was, dealing with that stuff that we're going to discuss later, is the fact that my parents did raise me to, love who I am. They taught me culture about Black history and things like that. And they didn't teach me just the ones that they teach in school, the Martin Luther Kings and the
Kroger brand.
Right. Martin Luther Kings and the Rosa Parks and all that different stuff. No, they taught me, the Marcus Garveys, the Malcolm X's, and during that time, as if people haven't noticed, my name is Kahlil, which is an Arabic name. During that time, that was the movement. My parents, both my parents were Black Panthers for the Richmond chapter. So I've always been grounded and rooted in culture, Black culture, and loving who I am. So it's not something that when I moved out here, it was a major adjustment, but it's like they couldn't brainwash me. I knew who I was, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, see, yeah, we definitely had a different upbringing in that regards because you know what I'm saying. You know, my parents was just trying to pay the bills and make it and keep us safe.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
had
yeah.
an extra added flavor to it.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I give my props because you know to my parents because nothing. You know, they always made we had food, we had clothes, we were always safe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. But it's true though. You know what I'm saying. Even like with growing up seeds now today, you gotta tell these children like what Bob Marley said. He said, "Tell the children the truth."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We just have to, you know, but that's a whole different story. So
Yeah.
that's a whole different topic. But you know, it's interesting because I tell people all the time, like, and I write in the book about some of the stuff that we had to deal with.
Oh,
you know what I'm
man.
saying?
Yeah.
See, and I don't know if it was you or it was Antoine that was telling me about how, like, I think it might have been you. I was saying how on the basketball team, how y'all could never make the basketball team just because because the politics is just everybody white, but y'all were better than everybody, obviously.
Yeah. So again, you know, where I'm from, you know, like I said, South Richmond, like you play basketball.
Mhm.
My father, my parents even put a basketball court in the backyard, and everybody in the neighborhood would come and play basketball.
Yeah.
So basketball was our thing. Like my brother was really good at football,
Mhm.
and you know, he was better than me at basketball. Even though he's older, but he was good. He was good. He had a little mid-range jump shot, but basketball was our thing. This is what we did. Like we played every day. You know, people, you know, when kids finished their homework, they would come to the neighborhood, our house, and play basketball. So, you know, moving out to Chesterfield County in the suburbs, what I learned was my style of basketball is not what they like.
Yeah.
It's not what they wanted. It's not something that they wanted. So, you know, kids think that and one and all that yelling started with them. Nah, we was talking. We were talking
back then.
Yeah, man. Oh shit, we were talking shit back then, and that's how it was. And we competed. So, you know, I was friends with the white kids, which I'm still friends with a lot of them now. But once we stepped on the basketball court, in between those lines, it was go time. Like we could be friends later. So it was just that the style of basketball and the politics of it, like it could only be one, like the token black kid on the team. You know what I mean? And so, you know, open gym tryouts, when I tell you, Joe, we used to kill them. They could not even close. Not even close. It was no denying that we were better than they were. So we go in the locker room, the names, you know, we're looking for our names, and what did that cut? How did it cut? I was dragging. And how did such and such make the team? And the thing was, I didn't hate the player that made the team, but it took like my sophomore or junior year to kind of like figure out that it's some bullshit going on more than what it is. So I remember Eric Edwards was probably one of the best basketball players to come out of Midlothian High School. I always give him his props for this. He was one of the best players. He averaged, I would say, in high school, he probably averaged maybe 20 and 12. He started as, I think he played freshman, freshman, so he was a JV. I think he went to varsity. And his junior year, like he's in the paper. It was a game where he had 20 points and 20 rebounds. Like he has an article where he was that good. They cut him his senior year. I could not believe and I could not understand. How do you cut a kid who is your best player? I say that to say this without getting into a lot of details. I just feel that when they made that decision, it fucked his future up going forward. Like I said, I'm not getting into a lot of details behind it, but I can see how if I want to go to college or I want to be something, how an adult or someone that looks at me a certain way based off my skin color can affect my future.
Exactly.
You know, and people take and go down wrong paths behind that. And I feel I don't feel sorry, but I can understand how he could go off on another path because of that. He wanted to play college basketball. I'm not saying he could have went to the NBA.
His dreams were shattered.
His dreams were shattered, and you could tell later on in life how that could happen.
Yeah,
it was just bad.
Yeah. People like and like I just remember how like just they just had like random drug searches, but
they did me like
like random drug searches, but you just come to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it was a trip because like see hindsight 50 of course and retrospect all that good stuff, but like I remember vividly like seeing parents come up to coach and they were talking that talk.
Yeah.
I you know what I'm saying, talking that talk. Cause man, I'm telling you, the funny thing is that even on the baseball team, some players were starting. They were whacked. They should have been starting. But the parents had to lose.
That's what I'm telling
you. You know what I'm saying? I sat there and watched the whole season. This dude, he didn't even get a hit. He might have got 3 hits the whole season. That joke was starting left field, man. You know what I'm saying? But and that's a small portion of it. But it even branches out to you just trying to go somewhere. Cops pull you over, cut you out. You know what I'm saying? Back in what is that? The mid '90s, man. It was in that area. You know what I'm saying? It was
90s was bad.
Yeah, man. It was very bad. And I mean, you told me that y'all the ones that because it was so bad, y'all had to set the order.
Yeah. We my parents. It was so bad that our parents, the black parents, like my parents and other parents of black kids, started an organization called Minority Voices. It was called Minority Voices. So they started that because the discrimination was so bad,
and
like
blatant.
It was blatant. We can't make the baseball teams. We can't. If we do make the baseball teams, we're not getting a lot of playing time. We can't make the basketball teams. You don't tell the kids about college. No one told me about college. I just want everybody to understand that my guidance counselor never told me that I could still go to college with a 2.5. Like I didn't know. I didn't know anything about that. I'm thinking, oh well. I remember having a conversation with a teacher, and the teacher said, "Well," because I asked her about college, and I remember the teacher saying, "Well, you could go to John Tyler."
I'm about to say that.
She said you could go to community college. Yeah, you go to J. Sergeant Reynolds. You could take that route, but she didn't like try to put. You're interested in college? Here's this. But yeah, they started an organization called Minority Voices, and what they did, is it gave us as students a voice to say what we feel and how we felt going to that school. We did a talent show. We even did a basketball showcase one time where it trickled over to Monacan High School, and they were doing Minority Voices too back then. So it was like they had a group of guys over there. They wanted to play basketball. And we played ball. The kids that didn't make the team, and we all played a game at Midlothian High School. It was awesome. It was so many people, but you could see the talent level. And we played at Huguenot Park, Rockwood, everywhere, bro. Like we were ballers. Like we played basketball, but we can't make this team. But yet Midlothian goes 500 every year with the same kids and the same stuff, and it was rough. It was rough, but. Minority Voices was something that was definitely needed during that time. Because like you said, Joe, it was bad, bro. Like I got drug search, like just walking. I'm sitting in the auditorium, and I think it was kind of like a setup. Like they wanted all the certain people, like the classes, to go into the auditorium.
We got him.
Right, we got him in there. Kahlil Archer, can you come to the office, please? So I'm like, so I go to the office. I come in, go in the principal's office, close the door. Open your book bag. What? So I'm unzip it, open my bag. It's nothing in here. What are you looking for? Oh, we're just doing random drug searches. And I'm noticing that everybody that's random that you're checking is black.
Randomly black.
Random black drug search. Like what? What are y'all doing? So again, that's just that type of stuff that was going on. But
yeah. It's what is that? Oh, okay, that's what is that? I think that's a play or something.
Yeah.
But man. So, and I talk about that in that book, man. I talk about the book, just the stuff that we had to deal with. But being dealt adversity at such an early age, that once you wrap your mind around it, once you internalize it, and you digest it properly, it's a very powerful tool for life, like you were saying earlier. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a lot of those people that we seen, and I noticed that just in life in general, a lot of people they flash early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They,
Yeah.
You know, they're Al Bundys, and they're all
Right.
trying to
Right.
worry about the past and all this, the stuff that happened in the past.
Right.
But they're not even at a point now in life in which they really realize that this is like you said, you're 44. I got you beat by about a month and probably about a month and some change.
Yeah.
But yo, it's like we. When I saw you, I felt like I was 18 again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we looked
nostalgic.
we got a little gray.
Right. Yeah.
But that stuff, all of that adversity, man, and us get through it.
Mm-hmm.
It just builds character.
Mm-hmm.
And it builds character.
Mm-hmm.
And I now appreciate every second of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I do.
Yeah.
I didn't back then when I was catching hell, but
Yeah.
I do. And even when other people, my mom told me one time, I was complaining about something, about 15, 16, I was complaining about something. She said to me, I had friends that went to Vietnam. She said, some people came back blown up or torn up.
Yeah.
Some people came back normal.
Yeah.
Some people came up, crazy out of mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And some people didn't come back at all.
Yeah.
And she was just like, yo, you need to really think about how you complain about certain things in life. And I listened to her, and ever since she said that, I tried my best not to complain about nothing that was worth complaining about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not complaining. I'm at the point right now in which I'm, like I said, I'm embracing that's how I'm in life in general.
Yeah, you gotta embrace.
I embrace everything, man.
Yeah.
So, could you kind of talk about after, like, you went through that experience in Suburbia? What was the next transition? Like, what was the next step?
To be honest, again, I gotta give credit. I have to give credit to my parents because if they hadn't instilled that type of self-love and me loving who I am, I probably would have been fucked up.
Yeah, I believe
But the transition for me was whatever. Like, I mean, I didn't go to college. I tried to go to school. I know I went to J. Sergeant Reynolds, the downtown campus.
Yeah, I went there.
Which is like going back to high school during that time, because all I did was end up playing basketball every other day. I didn't go to class. I was kind of I was excited to go to school for like marketing. I really wanted to go to school for marketing. But what turned me away from school was the fact that when you finish high school, you still have to take the same classes in order to get started on what you're. I said, nah, I ain't doing this. I'm out of high school. I want to start. But like you said, the transition wasn't bad. But I know that there's a lot of people that were in my shoes that the transition was rough.
Yeah, I can imagine it.
It's rough. Like, I remember walking down the hallways, and I don't mention names, but walking down the hallway, you get called nigger. I remember us getting fighting in the bathroom and shit like that, and just different stuff. And I saw that if we did it, it was a major thing. If they did the same thing that we did, it was kind of like, just get the class. It's okay, just get the class. But like I said, being that my parents taught me history of this country, I kind of understood what I was looking at.
Yeah.
So I say that to say there's a lot of people that kind of were born black students or black kids that were born in the county or born in the suburbs. I was kind of like their hero. I'm not patting myself on the back, but they looked at me as somebody like who. Matter of fact, they looked at me like when Django was on the horse. Like who the because I'm rebellious. I'm you're not gonna talk to me like that. The white kid that called me nigga, I'm gonna punch you in your mouth. Like that's how I was. But I felt sorry for those kids that grew up out there because to them that's the norm.
That's the norm. Yeah.
They see that shit. They don't. Their parents probably taught them not to retaliate.
Exact opposite. Yeah.
Like the exact opposite. So me coming from the inner city, I think that's why they really didn't, they really didn't like me as much because I was that kid. Like, I ain't doing, did you not see Billy do that shit? Don't say nothing to me. Oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. Let me call my dad. No. No, don't call Mr. Archer. Like, we don't call him. And the crazy thing is, I am now that dad to my son and my kids. I was that. I'm of course, my daughter is older, but when she went to Clover Hill, I actually spoke to the entire faculty, the whole police officers and everything, because there was so much BS going on at the school, and I had to let them understand that they're outdated. You guys are outdated. What they're doing is you guys gotta kind of catch up or speed up to understand what's going on. If they want to do a walkout based off of something, you can't suspend the kids for walkout. You can't suspend the kid for yelling in the hallway. Like, you're doing goofy stuff. You know what I mean? So I went and talked to them for about an hour. I had some teachers reach out, via email and wanted me to come back and talk again because, I gave them a lot of information, just stuff to think about, because nobody wants to have that conversation. You know that if you see the white kid doing something and the black kid doing something, and somebody you didn't see it and somebody told you something, you're going to automatically think that the black kid did it, and you're not even going to consider that the white kid did it.
It's interesting because it's like that's like a microcosm of this world, this country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you get groomed, of course you're getting fed lies in school from the jump, you know what I'm saying? And you're getting, like I had this daggone story when I was playing, I think I was playing my sophomore year football. I was in like US history class, you know what I'm saying? And I had a low grade, you know what I'm saying? Like I think I was flunking, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I remember one of the football coaches talked to my teacher. Next thing I know, I was passing. You know what I'm saying? I just knew I was gonna flunk. You know what I'm saying? I knew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they'll put you in a position like that when it benefits them. Yeah. But when it comes to that, no, was a microcosm, because they even say now that like schools are made like prisons. They're pretty much the same exact thing. Yeah. The same indoctrination, the same way it's set up physically,
same terminology,
and then the small things. Oh, you're in detention. You're in school suspension.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Isolated. It's kind of like solitary confinement.
Sounds like fun. You know what I'm saying? And they start early, and then and it's the indoctrination is so crazy, because think about all those times when they used to have like the voting for the class president. Of course you got to learn all this kind of stuff. But still, like looking back at it now, it's like, yo, they were just groomed. This system just grooms you. Yeah. To exactly that cookie cutter. You know what I'm saying? That cookie cutter cookie that they want you to be, which was like I say in my book, America only creates dealing with black people, Negroes and niggers. That's it.
Right.
If you got to get knowledge yourself, you got to find it on your own.
You got to get it on.
You're not gonna get it in the library. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get it in any of these books. You got to dig deep. You got to dig deep here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what happened to me. Like after I got out of the indoctrination, that's when it was like, because I remember after school, I still remember today, I saw all y'all at the Chesterfield Town Center. You know what I'm saying? Y'all sitting down, you know what I'm saying? My head run out and stuff. I was like, well, that's what y'all were doing all day.
Oh, yeah. So, like, that's funny that you mentioned Chesterfield Town Center. So, what happened was when I moved out here and I started to notice the blatant, like, the racism and the singling out and the prejudices and the stereotypes. I'm not a perfect guy. I did bad shit. I did bad shit. But what happened was, every time we would go into Sam Goody's. Remember Sam Goody's?
I remember
Sam Goody's. Some of y'all, I know y'all remember Sam Goody's from Richmond, Virginia. Sam Goody's.
You remember Sam Goody's?
Chesterfield Town Center. But what I noticed was, if we walked over, wherever we walked at the store, an employee would come over and stand to the side and watch us to make sure that we weren't stealing anything. So I'm like, motherfucker. I said, don't worry about it. I got you. Don't worry about it. Again, I'm not mentioning names. So I had some white friends. This is the plan. We're not going in together. We're going to walk over on this section. You guys walk over on that section. take everything you can
get it. Give me this.
Get it.
Here's my wish list.
I want this album. I want this album.
Dr. Dre.
Right. Snoop Dogg, Doggy style. So we go in Sam Goodies, and because of the stereotypes and the racism and all that type of stuff, like they were more focused on us when the white kids who were our friends were robbing them blind. And they would walk out the store and they would follow us until we walk out the store. We get in the car, bro. They have book bags. They're dumping that shit in the back seat. We got all kind of CDs. They get ACDs. They're getting stuff that they like too. But you know, it just goes to show you that that type of stuff still goes on though.
Yeah.
It really does.
I was in Cancun. You know, at a spot. You know, I was down there, and you know, these people looking at me like, you know, the whole thing stopped. You know what I'm saying? Just staring at me. I'm just trying to get some daggone, you know, some water or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to like that place is Fort Knox. Like I really want anything in there to take it. But you know, I mean, but, you know, all this stuff, you know, I thought it was the norm. You know what I mean? And on the flip side, is once I left and I moved to London, you know, and
was it different?
It was completely different because at the time I thought that everything, the world was Midlothian, Virginia. Yeah. But see, the world was either Midlothian, Virginia, or Baltimore. Right. Because I spent a lot of time in Baltimore because all my life, my family is there. So those are only two things that I really had as a young male examples of. Right. But like when I went there, I realized that a vast majority of this people on this planet don't see America the way we do because they don't experience, they don't put it on this pedestal like all this place. Actually, a lot of people be dissing America, you know what I'm saying? Across seas, you know what I'm saying? You know, I remember this one time, I think I might have talked about a book, but I can't remember that. But I was at this hostel in London, and there was this atypical frat boy, you know, white frat boy. He was sitting there, you know, all drunk, all, you know, this what are you doing? You know, I was acting all crazy stuff. It blew my mind because most of the people that were white Europeans, and they were looking at it, and they were just like, that's a typical American. You know what I'm saying? They were like, he's fitting every stereotype, you know. But then they would look at me, and they would be asking me questions about, like, you know, because their view of Black America was either a rapper or you're a sports star.
Entertainer.
Entertainer, something like that. Yeah. But it was a different feel than it was anything that you did here. Yeah. It was more curiosity as opposed to, you know, you're stealing something. It was like, you know, let's go get something to drink and talk about why I feel a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So that changed my mindset completely when it came to race. And that was probably the main thing. You know, because we know some of the same white folks. You know, cool. Just talking about
I was just with one of my best buddies.
Yeah,
you know, like I said, like I told you earlier, his son and my son are best friends, and they, you know, we went to the game to support his son. And it's crazy. We're sitting down, we're looking at each other and looking at our kids, like our parents used to sit and look at us. You know, and it comes back forward.
You know, and what you told me, I know you talking about too, and I told you like his dad coached me for years, man, and when he died, man, that was one of the first times that, like, you know, that I really felt like affected by somebody's death. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just because, you know, we young, man, we're impressionable, you know, and these people, we look up to them, you know what I'm saying? They drive us around to practices, games and stuff, you know what I'm saying? We battling, 5 days a week practices, you know what I'm saying? Damn near like family. Yeah. Literally, you know what I'm saying? So what was your moment? What was your aha moment? Like, kind of like I was talking about when you were kind of like
it's something different.
Yeah. Like when you were like, wait a minute, maybe it's a little bit more than, you know, what I was presented to in Midlothian High School or in Chesterfield. What was your
the aha moment is when we were in high school and they were having. I was probably a sophomore in high school, and I went to a keg party. A keg party at 16 years old.
Oh yeah, that's
so wait. Where I'm from, people, if the police are called, you have to turn your fucking music down. Yeah. Right? You gotta turn it down. That's where I'm from. You turn it down. Again, not saying any names. I'm at a keg party.
Yeah.
We're out front, red cups. You already know.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So I'm at the keg party, and apparently someone called the police. So me knowing, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do? So look, I take my beer and I toss the beer and shit, and the cop comes around and he said, "What's going on?" You know, parents said we're having the kids are celebrating or having a birthday party. Mm-hmm. The cop says, "All right, well, y'all just go in the backyard." Mm-hmm. I said, "What? It's beer, like we're all over the place. It's alcohol everywhere, and we're teenagers." And the cop just said, "Y'all are making too much noise. Just go in the backyard." Right then and there, that's when I knew that there was a separation. Right then and there. Yeah. Because if I'm 15, 16, and I have a cake party in the city, and a cop comes over and we're underage drinking, somebody's going to jail.
Yeah, Julie. Yeah, they got
your parents are getting locked up for even allowing
it to happen. Yeah.
When that happened, that was that aha moment for me. And I said, "Oh wow, it's two different worlds."
Yeah.
There are two different worlds.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that the worlds were separated by a highway.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like and people really don't understand about these two worlds. Like you don't even pay attention. If you drive on Midlothian Turnpike from where I live out in Midlothian, if you drive 60 east on Midlothian, just coming down Midlow, like you're going towards the city. Once you cross under Chippenham, it's a whole other world.
Yep.
It even looks different. Yep. It even feels different. It's a different energy when you go under that bridge. But that's how it is in the suburbs.
Yes, it's true.
It's a different world. And that was the part that I had to come to grips with. And that, like I said, that was that aha moment for me that I knew there was two different worlds. Even everything that my parents taught me and everything that I saw, even with the race, even with the fighting and the nigger this and this and this, when that cop just told us to go in the backyard because we're making too much noise, I said, I said, this game is rigged. This game is rigged. This is rigged.
That's heavy, man. And, it was a trip, man, that you talk about it because I try to tell people, like, even if you look back, like the railroad, remember where Briarwood was? Remember, the railroad, like that railroad, I used to look at as the divider.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
when we grew up, you had lower class, middle class, maybe a little bit kind of upper middle class. You just had the folks that saw that just had money. Old money. Yeah. So, they had that. You saw a huge division in that. Tremendous, because I mean there was a guy on my baseball team when he turned 16, he had a Mitsubishi 3000 GT, drove a white one.
Wow.
Yes, back then. You know what I'm saying? Like people turning 16, they just had like $20,000 car, like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? Probably paid cash too. All you have.
Right. Just take
this car.
Right.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, me, I'm having to work at Chick-fil-A.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I have to pay all my money to get a little nasty Dodge Daytona. Actually, I shouldn't say nasty because I love that little car. But Dodge Daytona, I had I was paying my parents helped me put a down payment on it. And I was working since I was 14 years old. Just bam, getting nothing handed to me. But another good life lesson as well. My parents always told me, they always said, if you will help you in anything, that you want to do, as long as you're working to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so I know that you coach basketball, and what, besides the fact of, you playing it your whole life, what made you be like, I gotta help these kids out. I want to show my skills. What influenced you to get out there and help these kids, these little brothers out?
I mean, even before my son started playing basketball, like I said, I wanted to help mentor kids, just be a part of the community. I've never been paid for anything that I do in the inner city, wherever I'm coaching. When I was at Blacktop, it was Blacktop King of Queens, which was a great a great organization, a great sports organization that was shut down for some bullshit. But shout out to Manny Harris and Tiff Harris. But it was just a giving back factor. You know, because like I said, I never forgot where I came from. Even though my environment changed, my mind still didn't change. So you could have put me anywhere, and I wanted to give back. But once my son started playing basketball, that's when I really kind of turned up. But I've always talked to kids, mentor kids when they call me, ask me questions. You know, I'm more of, when I coach, I'm more of a psychologist. You know, what I've learned with this generation is you can't, like, that rah-rah shit that we grew up with, they don't, some kids like that, but majority of them kids ain't trying to hear you. They don't want to hear that shit. They just don't want to hear that shit. All that yelling, the shit that we used to. Get your dumb ass on. Get the fuck. Kids look at you like, bro, like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Like, why are you yelling? You know, so I've learned to be more of a psychologist as a coach, because a lot of these kids, you know, they come from different backgrounds, you know, different environments. So a lot of the stuff that, you know, you may not know about or been experienced to or pretty, that's what they're in. So my whole goal was to kind of, as a, not just for basketball, but as a mentor, to kind of show them that guys that look like you, you and me, are not what you see in your environment. Just because I don't live in your environment doesn't mean I don't care about what's going on. I think that's one of the biggest things a lot of my players always love about me is because I did come from that, but we moved out. My parents moved us out of that, but I didn't forget. You know what I mean? So that's my part. You know, I do a lot of donating to certain Black organizations, sports organizations. I do a lot of donating, but I don't broadcast that shit because I don't. I just do this shit. But the reason why, to go back to the question, is more or less because a lot of these kids, that's their way out. So I want to teach them the game of basketball, but also teach them how to be young men and young women. Because what happens is not everybody makes it with basketball.
Exactly right.
That may not be how you get out. But I want to teach you how to be a young Black man, a great young Black man, a great young Black woman in society. I want you to be a great person in society before I want you to be a great basketball player. If that makes sense. So
I was like going back, I was saying earlier about, like, I think about all the time about how, like, this crazy stuff, like, I don't listen to the radio no more. You know what I'm saying?
I'm leaning toward it, but some of these beats.
They grab you, huh?
I'm sorry.
Well, you know, I'm a musician. So,
that's right.
So it's like, see, music to me, like, if I got an hour, and I got an hour trip, and I got Sirius XM, I'm putting on Soul Town. That's me personally.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, just because you know, I remember Bobby Hemmett one time, he was saying that one of the reasons why they changed music was because people realized that soul music was healing us. You know what I'm saying? We literally would listen to music, dance, feel better, and because our melanin, you know, we be able to heal ourselves. So they're like, nah, we can't. You know, we got to bring in the synthesizers, and you know what I'm saying. But going back to the what I was saying about the music and stuff is that these lyrics, all this kind of stuff. Oh, pop pills, murder your friends. You know, all this crazy music in which, you know, they're just really pawns in a bigger game. Professor Griff broke that down to a whole T, and that, you know, but it's much easier to have one of these people like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion flashing their body, doing all this kind of crazy stuff. It's much easier to have these people as a representative of our youth, as opposed to an individual that you might have groomed. You know what I'm saying? That might got some sense. That might have some culture to it, but you know, that's the minority. Damn, Black folks minority. The minority is us that have sense. The brothers and sisters that have sense that are young. You know what I'm saying?
So, like, even from a music standpoint, like, I think that the music plays a major part, but I think that it's not just the music. I think it's the household that the music is being played. So I say that when I was young, you couldn't play hip hop in the house. You just couldn't do it. My parents weren't trying to hear that. What did they call it? Hibbity hoppity, hibbity bibbity music. You couldn't play it in the house. But if you know, as they started to listen to some of it, they liked some of it because they listened to Ice Cube. And back then, Ice Cube was talking some real shit.
Yeah, he was conscious.
So they liked that, Public Enemy and all that. So they learned to like it. So we could play a lot of hip hop in the house. We couldn't say the N word. My dad doesn't like the N word. I don't use the N word unless I gotta be really angry about some shit. Riled up. But I rarely use it. I don't like to use the word. But to go back to my point, my dad always, even if we were watching TV, he always explained what was going on while I'm watching. Like I'm telling you, at 8 years old, I used to be under my dad, bro. Like we watch horror movies, shoot 'em up, bang bangs. Like it didn't matter, bombs blown, heads getting cut off. That's just how we bonded. So, but he would always explain to me like, yo, that's not real. That's TV. Oh, the reason why that happened is because of this. So like even with music with my son, he listens to that music, but I'm the voice that and I talk to him about, yo, do you know what lean is? Do you know what you're saying right now? You got the lyrics, but do you know what you're saying?
The translator.
I'm translating it. So you do know a stick is a gun. You do know that lean is like heroin. It's codeine. You do know that. You do understand that this, and this. So I'm there to explain to him what's going on, so he understands kind of like what that world is. So even with the bad shit that you say they're saying in the music, it's not that, because freedom of speech is freedom of speech.
True.
But if the kids are listening to the shit and the parents are listening to the shit and nobody's translating or telling them, because one thing I think is funny is when I drive down Midlothian, or I was down Midlothian in the suburbs, and I see the white kids in the car.
Going in.
But then I know that the dad or the mom's at home telling them cut that shit off. You are not like that. You are not that. You can listen to that, but you are not that. You're not going to become that. So that's the difference. Some parents, they listen to the music and they don't say nothing. They just let their kids absorb that bullshit in their head. But nah.
Yeah. And it, again, the microcosm, the programming, man. It starts, it starts,
you got to get ahead of it. You got, and I don't mean to cut you off, but you gotta get ahead of it. Like it's hard or damn near impossible to talk to an 18-year-old about consciousness and shit like that. It's damn near impossible because when we're all born, I say that we're like computers, right? So when you're born, it's like that you went to Walmart and you bought a computer in a box. There's nothing on the computer. It's blank. The computer is no good only to what you download or what you software you put in it. So when a kid is born, they absorbing and are learning what you put in them at an early age. If you teach self-love, if you teach black love, or any culture, I don't care what culture, just teach love in general, to love yourself more than you love anyone else. Be this, be that, know your history. That's what I'm saying. With that, doing that for a child at an early age, that's what helped me in Surburbia.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying? That's why surviving Surburbia, it was cool. Like it wasn't a big, it wasn't that. It was some bullshit that happened, but at the end of the day, they couldn't fuck with me because they knew I was punching. Man. I had a foundation, bro. Like you couldn't fuck with me because, listen, bro, it's consequences. My brother and his friends, they went to Midlothian before I did. I was at the middle school. They got to fighting with the group of white guys because one of the white boys called his friend's girlfriend a black nigger bitch. Respectfully, beat the shit out of them. Like they destroyed them. 2:00 in the morning, police come knock on them. They arrested my brother. for that.
Mm.
Go get our lawyer. They go to court. They throw this shit out because of what that white person said. What they said. You get that. So it goes back to the point that the kids that kind of grew up out there probably, anytime a person says that to a black person, to me, there's never been a consequence for them saying it. So they keep saying it over and over. There's never been a life lesson. So it's like the Archer boys kind of moved out and created this life lesson culture. Not saying that, you know, Mike and them, those cats riding on punching people in with the ass when they were being racist, but it was like a thing though, bro. Like it was just a strong, like they knew my dad. My dad, when they come to the house, my dad was always greeting them, calling them, all y'all are my sons. Like, because a lot of them grew up with no dads, bro. Like my dad was the neighborhood father, bro. Like, and they grew up without, you know, could you imagine not having a father figure, but having a father that will come up to the school to represent all of the black kids in the neighborhood that are going through the whole shit. That's some powerful shit, bro. So I'm him now. That's what I do now. Because my son got into an altercation at school where kids called another kid Blackie. And my son was like, yo, chill with that, bro. Like, we don't chill. Like, nah. And then white kid like, wow, Blackie. So my son's like 5'10", 185. He's a kid. The other kid was whatever. So he proceeds to pick the kid up and sit him down and hold him down in the chair and tell him, yo, you need to chill. Like, chill out. They wanted to suspend him, but then, hey, I'm that dad. No. You can't. But imagine if he had a father that's not involved or parents that weren't involved. They would have suspended him for putting his hands on that kid. You see what I'm saying? So surviving Surburbia was life lessons because I learned stuff because I met great white people that I probably would have never met them ever.
It's true. No. I agree. Man, old boy, one of my homeboys. You know, like you say, we ain't gonna name names, but boy just died, man. I don't know if you heard about that.
No. Bronzer told me about it.
You know, so he just died, man, and he was back when all that stuff. Like, he was my advocate. It's like when they want that racist stuff, someone like I was like, yo, I went to him like, yo, man, you got to tell these kids to stop. You know what I'm saying? He, he did as much as he could. You know, but he always supported me with my books. He bought my book. You know, my music. He bought my music. He always supported me. See, that's why I keep on saying, like at the beginning, like I said about this podcast, y'all people, y'all are worried about the most unimportant stuff in dealing like with race and all that stuff like that. These people that made this world, this establishment, this whole system, you know, they're sitting that their mindset is a whole new level. They don't care about any of that. They laughing about, you know, people still dealing with racism. You know what I'm saying?
They are though.
They are though. Literally. You know what I'm saying? Like me personally, for anybody to have a mindset, you know, where they can just look at somebody and not now I didn't say being prejudiced. Being prejudiced is different. You know,
everybody has a
you know what I'm saying? Because there was a time I was in North Carolina, right? I was driving from Landon to North Carolina. I had to get some gas, and I didn't have my gun at the time, man. I drove in this and I walked in the store. I saw these three white dudes. I was like, God damn,
there you go.
I was literally like, yo, if it's about to go down, it's about to be it. It's about to go down, but they got the stuff to just walk right out. Right. You know, of course, you know, that's my.
It's just that feeling because of where you are. You know, where you were. You were in North Carolina, South. You know, it's just your knowledge of history. So
exactly.
It's you have what is that term?
Self-preservation. That's what it got.
It's the preconceived notion.
It's prejudice.
It's a prejudice.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Everybody has it, but I think the system and the media is what drives that. Like that, they drive that. Like when if you see me as a black person, like I'm I look a certain way. I don't look dangerous. I don't. I don't have. I get the smiles and shit everywhere I go. I don't look dangerous. But if I was a darker complected, hair twisted, and you saw me, your preconceived notion was, I gotta watch him. He's a problem. He's gonna rob me. And he could be a CEO of one of the biggest cryptocurrency corporations in the world. But your preconceived notion of what's been conditioned in your brain, look at him.
I think I remember one of the things. I remember reading. Dr. York once said, "No one wins the race in racism." You know,
Right.
and it took me a while to really understand what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a catchy term." But then but then I really thought about it. I thought about my personal experiences going in there, and I was just like, "Yo, nobody, if we all fighting each other, for what I'm saying, for you know, who wants to deal with any of that?"
Right. That's a
Seriously,
fact. That's a
on
fact.
both sides.
On both sides.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I understand the insecurity aspect of white supremacy and all that kind of stuff, because they want to hold on to the stuff they built. I understand all that stuff.
Right.
I'm talking about, these people that are running this globe, what I'm saying, they ain't studying none of that.
No.
They ain't studying none of it.
No.
They got a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
And we sit there, fumbling on that. It's numerous things. We need to be elevating, like you said earlier, about self-love, man.
Yeah.
Start with that.
Yeah.
Self, knowledge of self. Start with that, bump everything outside that has anything to do with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing, man. People gotta. The more that people get to learn and know knowledge of self, the more in true self. I ain't talking about no corrupted ideologies and stuff like that. I'm talking about really getting connected to source. You know what I'm saying? This place would be a hell of a lot better place because, like you said, the media, man. Yo, Kahlil, I'm gonna tell you something, and I say this all the time. When I saw that thing with COVID, all that stuff, the propaganda I saw, all the stuff you watch on TV, and 2 million people died, in 1 second. 500 million died in 2 days. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's kind of, I'm exaggerating, of course, but still, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I'll never, ever take anything I see on TV series ever again in my life. You know what I'm saying? I said that before, but it was a whole new level.
Yes.
And now I'm gonna say this too. When Donald Trump lost that election, my personal opinion, you know what I'm saying? When he lost that election and the way they made it, all that stuff, I was like, yo, this is all a lie.
Yeah.
I'm not. Trump did some good things. I'm not. I ain't hating. I'm not the biggest. I don't believe in any. I don't believe in any man president that's gonna make a big difference in my life, regardless. And plus, as we've seen, presidents, where they say presidents are chosen, not voted.
Selected.
Selected.
Elected.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That was when I saw that, and right after that COVID happened, I was just like, yo, this.
It's the matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's all in it.
It's all
To go back to the the when you were talking about the self love.
Self love, yeah.
It's a group of it's like this generation of kids in the suburbs where where I live in that area. They honestly don't look at race, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
changed.
going
down. It's going down.
Like it's changed. Like
tremendously. And
it's funny story. It's funny story, but everything that my parents told me or taught me about like white people and the history and what they slavery and all of that, I instill it history. But then he looks at his friends like, what the fuck was my dad talking about? What are y'all talking about? This is my guy. Like this is my guy. We on the same basketball team. We hooping. We go to Dairy Queen. How am I supposed to look at him any differently than he looks at me? So like it's a generation that's trying to remove that kind of ignore it. Like get out of here with that shit.
It's dying.
And this goes for the white kids as well. They don't look at that one kid it's always that one kid. It's always that one kid. Always that one kid. But I came to find out that with that situation, they call each other that. He was talking, not my son. He was nah. The white kid was talking to another black kid who was his friend. And the black kid calls the white kid blackie, and it's like they go back and forth. It's like certain words that we view as they're like, what the fuck is y'all talking about?
Well, and I talk about that in I think in the chapter um, something about America in the book. I can't remember it. I can't. It's something when I talk about America, like we were talking about earlier. Like when we grew up, we didn't have a lot of sisters around us. You know what I'm saying? It was very few. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And interracial dating was really taboo.
That shit was taboo.
Yeah, it was like too bad.
I'm gonna tell you how taboo it is. I was talking to somebody, like I was real cool with somebody, and they literally during that time they had to sneak to talk to me, just to even talk to me.
Oh yeah.
Like they had to sneak to the house. And I remember one time, I'm in Rome. Let's do as the Romans do. So I invite a white female over the house. They tell my parents shit. We're on the couch laughing and having a great time. Man, my mom came in the house and kicked her ass out the house, bro. Like it was just a different energy. It was a different vibe at that time. Like, and people will say, "Oh, that's fucked up," but really, it's not, because I couldn't go sit on her couch. And back then, her dad would have probably tried to kill my ass.
He got away with it.
And got away with it, like I was trespassing or some goofy shit. But but that's that part. But
yeah, that's what see, one of the things I noticed. See, I'm in in Atlanta now. Going back to Atlanta all the time, and like I noticed. See, I stayed in the deck. So I stayed in Decatur. So I was dabbing cops literally, like just because they look like you.
Right.
I was like, what's up, bro? You know what I'm saying? You didn't see, if there's white people there, they were junkies.
Really?
Yeah, trying to get drugs. In most cases, of course, some white people started moving in before COVID hit in that area because white people got money, so they're gonna buy a house. They don't care about. In Atlanta, it's different because it's like an unknown, unspoken word. You know what I'm saying? If you're in Atlanta, you're a minority, so to speak.
Right.
But what I noticed is like going to Piedmont Park, in Atlanta. I looked around and there was so many interracial relations, interracial couples, what I'm saying? And I was just like, because, I had to go to actually in Piedmont Park to see it because I didn't really see it where I stayed, you know what I'm saying? Because I always stayed kind of south, like in Jonesboro, Decatur, you know what I'm saying? And all those, kind of south. You don't really see, it like that. But man, I went out there. I saw all those interracial couples. I was like, dang, I didn't know it was like that. But then I come here to Richmond, and I'm just like, it's like that, like quadruple in Richmond, smaller. But in my book, I talk about how, kind of piggybacking on what you were saying, people ain't studying that race stuff anymore. So if they find somebody they like, they just gonna marry them.
Yeah, they just like
they like him.
Right.
They like him. Like we talked about an old boy earlier. People want to live their life. They want to be happy.
Yeah.
They ain't really studying none of that race stuff. They they meet somebody when they fall in love with them, and that's it. There's no they have kids, whatever the case may be.
They're actually, if their parents don't approve, they're like, fuck you.
Yeah, I don't even care. Yeah, like, that's what they say.
I don't give a shit.
This will rack my brain. I gotta remember the name of that. I swear, this messing my head right there. But America the Great Divide. That's it.
America the Great
Divide. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. But that's in London back after they got all bombed up. Hitler bombed up everything in World War II. They opened up everybody they colonized. British opened up everything so they can come help rebuild it. They called it, I think it's called the Windstrom, something like that. It was a whole movement in which people, Jamaica and all of the islands, all the places, they all came and helped rebuild it. Yeah. Right. And this is what like the 40s, like that time frame. So from that time frame, ever since that, you already had people that were intermixing interracially. Right. So when you go to London now, you have, like, my personal story. I remember I went to this one of my homeboys' house. I was living in London. His dad is like Peter Tosh, and his mom looked like Christy Brinkley. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And he looked like Obama, and his mom looked like Halle Berry. And that was the first time I seen it like that. I was just looking at the family. I was like, damn, that's his mom. She loving on him. That's his baby. You know what I'm saying? I, like we said earlier, I say just to anything in life. Yeah. To each its own. You know what I'm saying? To each its own. None of what you do affects me. I might have my personal view on it, but you know what I'm saying? Right. But that personal view on that ultimately, it doesn't even matter because I'm not in that position.
You're not in that. You're not even in that situation
Yeah,
for it
exactly.
to even
So,
affect
yeah,
me.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but I'm saying all that to say is that, yeah, you see that. And also, astrologically, the day and time when the age of Aquarius, people are starting waking up, really, people are really starting to, get, find themselves. And, that's all that's people really care about at this point. Just finding a good person.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like,
I mean,
I'm telling you,
how hard is that, yo? Real talk, man.
I'm telling you, like, it's. I think it's more not so much of the aha moment with that. Not only with my son and their group of friends, but the aha moment for me was during the whole protesting. There was more of them out there than there was of us.
Yeah, that was a trip.
That was weird to me.
Yeah,
and I'm looking, and I'm on Monument Avenue, and I'm looking, I'm like,
yeah,
where the fuck are we? And all of a sudden, we gravitated, but they were out there protesting.
You heard what I said. What I was gonna say is, I was like, I could never believe that. I thought, but I thought that I would ever see, or was ever say that in Richmond, ever say that in Richmond.
And those statues have been up there forever.
Yo,
but the thing is, it's the generation, it's our kids' generation that aren't scared.
Yeah.
They're not scared. They were out there. They didn't give a shit. We don't like this stupid shit. Get this stuff out of here. Like, get it out of here. Why y'all?
It's even funny with dealing with that because I always like to be look at any situation from. I try my best to look at those perspectives, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at this because I was in Atlanta at the time. I was just
I remember you going back and forth.
So I was when I came up and we met up and I saw the whole controversy and stuff. I was just like, me personally, I was like, all right, because you got to think about this. See, people don't really know American history that well. You know what I'm saying? Not the real. I'm talking about the real history. Not that old phony baloney stuff you learn in school. No, people don't know American history. And even world history, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So if you're white in America, you know what I'm saying? That stuff, especially if you're looking for heritage, that's all you got.
Yeah.
No, I mean, real. I'm not. I'm not saying.
I understand.
That's literally all you got. That's your heritage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We could say we us knowing us, we know that we either Native Americans or we Native Americans or we came from Africa. Right. Or the islands. We can bypass the slave stuff because more likely we weren't slaves. That's the reality. Right. And, but for them, that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, that's a whole nother. You know what I'm saying? Right. But that's all they have because they still only go back to Europe, and you know what I'm saying. So that's all these people have. So in my mindset, I'm like, are these statues these are these people's heroes? Right. Taking them down. You know what I'm saying? So I said to myself, because I used to avoid going.
I know we talked about
drive Monument. I would not.
What's
that? The road next to Monument Avenue? Is it
Park Boulevard?
Yeah, you got Monument. You got one over. I used to always drive that road.
Oh, you had
They run parallel to.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, I used to always go down that road because I want to see the statue.
Yeah.
But my point is, these people have that's all they know. I say, take the statues, throw them in a museum.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's my personal opinion. That's
so they can go see it.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't have it on display.
Yeah,
don't have those people on display. Like I've been speaking about this for years. So for me, it was a great thing that I saw. Taking them down.
And man, in a way, see, they so slick with that stuff though because they make those statues big. Number one, and then they put them on a pedestal on top of it. So when you look it up, you're looking at horse nuts looking at you that's bigger than you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That you know what I'm saying? But that's the psyche, the psyche, the psyche, all that, all of that, it all plays to everything.
Yeah, it does.
Into suppression, supremacy. Every aspect. I remember Bobby Henry was saying, he was just like breaking it down. He was saying that you lift everything that you can possibly imagine daily is what to suppress you, to suppress the God in you. You know what I'm saying? They thought of everything.
That's why I
said
food, everything,
the drink, the lights, the schooling, the religion. You know what I'm saying? Because they, that insecurity of what happens if they wake up and realize who they really are.
Right. That
You know what
part.
I'm saying?
That part.
Yeah.
That's why I said that part of and again that's what I brought out to the suburbs.
I can see that now.
I brought that shit, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm not bullshit. Like my parents were big on that. They were big on knowing
Yeah.
history, knowing your real history. Like my parents wouldn't even let us go to school on Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, yeah.
They were like, nah, you don't going to school.
You were the only person, actually, you were the only person after the fact, after we reconnected. You were one of our age, my age and less. You're the only person that really, when I started getting information, we started talking stuff. You were the only one that, when I named the name, you were like, "Oh yeah." You were the only person back here. I'm not exaggerating at all. Besides, obviously, people here that talking and stuff.
Yeah.
But you were the only one that
It was a. I remember having a conversation like years ago, like almost. How long have I been like reading? It's been forever.
Mm-hmm.
But I met a guy at my job where I used to work, and he was telling me, I got some books for you. I want you to read some books.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, he said, I'm gonna be honest with you. Once you open your third eye, you'll never ever be able to close it.
Exactly.
He said, no matter how bad you want to close it, he said you'll never ever be able to close it. He said, so you gotta be sure. He said, matter of fact, I'm not gonna give them to you right now. I'm gonna wait. You come to me when you're sure. When you're sure. 3 days later, I said, yeah, I'm sure, because I was doing, looking up Dr. York stuff. I was in the really heavy into the Nation of Gods and Earth. So it was just I was big into that. Yeah. So I said, yeah, I want these books. Gave me like the Meta Netta, Volume 1, Volume 2, a book called Stolen Legacy, a book called Melanin. It was all these books, and I'm sitting there reading these books, bro, and I'm listening to these speakers, and I tell people out here, I tell y'all, I'm being so serious. If it's something that you seek, like the consciousness that you really seek, and you really get it, you ain't gonna be able to turn it off. I can't watch movies. Normally.
I agree.
I can't watch, like most people can go to the movie and look at it as entertainment. Me, it's entertaining me, but I'm dissecting I'm decoding everything that they do. So it's no longer normal. Even if I'm at the store, no matter what I'm looking at, it's like what movie was that? Like Transformers, when with Wiki, everything he looked at, it was like a digital, like he was decoding shit. I mean, it gets like that. I'm serious, bro. Like watching sports, I can see bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see the bullshit.
It's hard for me to watch. I'm be honest, it's hard for me to watch sports.
Yeah, man.
Like, I used to love even baseball. I love it. I know. That's hard for me to even because I see what's happening behind it. And, it's difficult for me to see anything organized, especially, my brother, he worked for the Mets for like 12 years, right? I used to hear some of the stuff he was saying, and then I was at a point, I was just like, wait a minute. If Vegas is getting billions of dollars, and now granted, I have a very good memory. We still talk about conversations. I wear I can tell you stuff you were wearing back when you first met, way back.
Right.
I got very good memory.
Yeah.
I remember I sat there watching, and this is one example. It was the Steelers against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Neil O'Donnell threw that ball right where Darren Woodson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right when they about to drive, I saw Cam Newton. Not granted, I could be wrong. It's my own conspiracy theory. I saw Cam Newton look down at the ball. He could have picked it up. He didn't. I saw so many things in sports that controls everything. So, you know, how can it? How can it be real? How could any of this, be real? It's fun, it's entertaining, but at the same time, I watched a movie today. What was it? Doctor Strange. You know what I'm saying? I watched that movie, and it was a nice movie, But at the same time, I'm like looking at it as I'm seeing how when the people grimacing, I see that's fake.
Right.
I was watching the Batman movie. I was watching it, and when I'm watching it, I'm looking at it. Okay, I see the cameraman with the camera on the side of the car and it driving through the street. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing that aspect. I'm not even looking at that.
You're not looking at that.
Yeah,
right.
But that's how things are with life overall now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was saying so much about when I saw that stuff would happen with Trump and COVID, all that kind of stuff on TV, how it all played out. And a whole bunch of stuff, man. Even January 6th, when that stuff happened, like I saw this one thing, right? And it interesting. They were saying they had this one guy. He was like part of the Proud Boys, and he looked like he was a Latino cat talking on the Proud Boys talk. You know what I'm saying? And come and find out he was an informant. And I'm like, how many meetings did he go to? How many names does he have from those meetings?
Yep.
And you already know them jokers are already. They had a shooting today. There
was it in Milwaukee somewhere?
I think it was a Buffalo.
Buffalo. Yeah.
They had a shooting today, and now they saying that the guy with white supremacists and army fatigues and stuff. And it's like, granted, we've seen that numerous times. We know there's nuts out there like that. You know what I'm saying? And more likely it's true. My point is, they still would have used that for an agenda. Of course. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
everything that they're doing is a lead up for something.
Yeah,
else.
Exactly.
It's something else. So it's not. It's going to be so many more shootings. The next thing you know, they're going to have a conversation about gun control.
There you go.
I get it, Joe.
Because America. Because one thing I respect about Americans now. One thing I respect about Americans is that, like, even with the January 6th thing, I think it went around the wrong way, but like even going back to the thing I was saying about this is all they got. Mm-hmm. This is all these people got in America. These white Americans. This is all that Constitution, all the independence, all that stuff. This all they know, and they'll fight. They're gonna fight to it. Death. They ain't gonna take none of that way.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Keep it. They're definitely
gonna keep it. And the people above, they're like, nah, we gotta find some way to squelch these jokers. So let's name these people domestic terrorists now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be
some of them they should.
Well, they got because that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
I got it. We gotta do another show.
I already told you, man. You already know, man.
We gotta do another show.
We already got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we can wrap it up here, man. Yeah, of course, if y'all haven't already, please follow the brother. What's your IG?
Spider Two Legs at Spider Two Legs on Instagram.
Yeah, he might come to the TikTok world. We were talking about that. I don't know about that. But y'all got it. Let's see. I ain't even look at the chat like that. It's too funny. Any questions out there? Let's see. What we got? Let's see. Somebody comment hello. I didn't see that was. All right. Let's see. All right. Well, if y'all don't got any questions, I'm gonna end this bad boy on out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
My brother Kahlil.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna catch y'all. But before I go, follow him. Follow the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Please press that like button. Subscribe. Oh yeah, check out the book. That's his copy. I sent him a PDF file a long time ago. Now he got a physical copy. But talk a lot of the stuff that we talk about is in that book and much more. So, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be out of here. Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Kahlil's gonna be back, and we're gonna get even heavier and dirtier.
Oh yeah.
All right, peace.